All right.
Hey
pick
everybody, welcome back to Yellow Ball.
pick the
Let's
video.
see. Let's see. Oh, I have to pick one. I'm picking Monica Abbott because why wouldn't I?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's gas, bro.
If if you blink, you literally miss the pitch going.
Yeah, that's
If you
gas.
blink, that's
There's maybe 10 years ago I could touch that.
maybe in my dreams I could touch that. That
I mean,
ain't
I'm saying if she's just throwing a fastball. If she's just throwing a fastball, I'm confident that even right now I could probably touch it. 10 years ago, I could square it up. But if she's throwing a rise ball and a curveball, no screwball, no, I'm
anything
like,
that moves.
yeah, no chance, not a shot,
Mm-mm.
not a shot.
That's just
Just
first of all, I would like to point out I met her when I was 10, right?
mm.
Mind you, I'm 5'2" on a
You
good day.
told me this story
Yeah,
before.
and she's what 6'4" something. I don't know. I go to get the autograph.
Taller than me.
Yeah, I go to get the autograph. Been to where she can sign my shirt that I have on, and she's like down on her knees signing this shirt because I was so short. Mom was like, "What? Why are you doing that?" I'm thinking, Mom. Like embarrassing.
Oh, just little old Ashley trying to be nice. Make a little
Yeah,
tabletop for Monica Abbott.
it's like a little kids table.
Yeah.
It's, oh man.
Yeah.
Man, she
Um,
really sauced that pitch up. I don't even know what to say.
yeah. Sound effects. That's all I got for you. I can't. I can't talk. It was
Oh
just
gosh.
fuzz. It was just absolute fuzz. Just gas, Cajun fastball, Bayou. You ain't
That's
heard that
funny.
before?
No, that's a good one. I haven't heard that. That's pretty good.
Oh man, yeah, just a good old Cajun fastball from down in the Bayou, boy.
I mean, literally, if you blink while you watch the video, it's here,
Yeah,
catcher's mitt. That's it.
yeah.
That's all you got. Your eyelids better be glued to the top if you're hitting against her.
All right, welcome back to Yellow Ball, episode 6. We're diving into the good old Pac-12,
That's hardly
and
there anymore.
yeah, won't be diving into it next year.
Right.
The Big Ten will get interesting though,
All be interesting.
as will the Big 12.
And the SEC.
Well, yeah, but I mean, not because of the Pac-12 closing down.
Well, true. I see. I see.
Would have been pretty strange. UCLA and the SEC. I mean, it's strange anyway, but
Just travel cross country.
yeah. Anyway, so last year UCLA finishes the regular season at the top of the Pac-12. Washington finishes second. Utah finishes third, and then little old Utah goes into the Pac-12 conference tournament and upsets UCLA to win their first conference tournament title ever.
That
It's a
one really
great year
sends
to
me.
be. Yeah, it was a great year to be a Ute. That's for sure.
Bad year to be a Bruin.
Yeah,
Well, not a bad year. Bad
yeah. I
ending.
mean, when you go, what was it? Where did they go? 52 and
50.
7 or something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and you don't make it out of your regional. I feel like it's fair to say that that was a bad year. I feel like that's fair to say.
Ugh, that's
But
rough.
yeah. But somebody's got to lose. Just so happened to have been UCLA,
Just so happened to have been the most dominant team in the Pac-12 the whole season, but it's fine.
one of the most successful teams in college softball history. Whoops. Sorry. So UCLA finishes the year batting 336 as a team, which is really freaking good. They hit 66 home runs. Offensively, they just did really well. I mean, when you win 52 games, like obviously, right?
Yeah, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, defense was pretty solid. Not the best that we've seen so far, but better than most of the other teams we've talked about already in other conferences. Pitching was really good, obviously, with Megan Faramo and Brooke Yanez. Um, like really, really good. Her team ARA was a 169, held opponents to a 189 batting average. I really couldn't ask for your pitching staff to do much more. Not
Except for
during the
just hang
regular
on a
season,
little
anyway.
longer.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't want to say like they got tired or anything, like or were like battling through an injury or something like that. Like you don't battle through an injury and put up a 1.42 ERA and post a 29-3 record or a 1.99 ERA and a 16-3 record. Like you don't. There's no injury there. That's you being you.
That's
Man, yeah, I don't. I mean, their offense kind of just like stopped producing there at the
yeah.
end too.
It was like everybody just checked out.
Yeah, I mean, they still put up like in regionals. I can't remember as far as the tournament goes, but in regionals, they put up like a three spot and a four spot. It just wasn't good enough
Yeah,
running the two hot teams with Jesus on their side
Liberty Liberty.
and Grand Canyon, the apparent fake online school.
Okay. Some could say the same thing about Southern New Hampshire University. They might think that one's also just an online school. It very well could be. I have no idea, but they be putting out commercials just like Grand Canyon does. That's all I gotta say.
Oh man. Unfortunately for UCLA, they lose both Megan Faramo and Brooke Yanez.
1-2
Um,
punch out.
yeah,
Just,
uh, I don't know how they're going to replace them. They don't really have any pitchers returning. They have Taylor Tinsley returning, but she only threw 57 innings last year. So, and I mean, they went out and got a pitcher in the transfer portal, but I mean, she did really well. Jada Cecil from UC San Diego was 31-15 during her career there with a 1.92 ERA and had a bunch of strikeouts. A bunch of strikeouts.
yeah, with a little amount of walks.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe she, comes in and she just puts the team on her back. But when you're talking about when you're talking about replacing two really phenomenal pitchers with just one, like I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. They have a
I don't
freshman
know if
coming
it's
in.
gonna do the trick.
Yeah, they have a freshman coming in Caitlin Terry, who is two two times Caitlin Terry won Arizona Gatorade Player of the Year back in 2021 and in 2023. And
Mm-hmm.
she was 62-9 during her high school career in the circle with a .53 ERA. This girl struck out over 1,200 batters in 511 and a third innings. That's insane.
Yeah, I think when I was looking at UCLA's incoming freshman and I came across Caitlin Terry, I think when I saw her stats, I was just so baffled at the numbers because I didn't write any of them down. Instead, I put impressive stats just to cover the general
Just
idea
cover all bases.
that
This girl's really good.
she's just good.
That's all you need to know. She's just good. You don't need to hear her stats or anything. I don't need to prove my point. I'm just gonna tell you she's good.
Just trust it.
Yeah.
Now, if she gets to college and she's not good, I didn't. That wasn't me.
Yeah. She also hit 626 with 53 home runs and a 757 on base percentage through her high school career. So she's good in the circle and at the plate. And not just good, like she's the real deal.
She's got really impressive stats.
Do you think she's do you think she's the West Coast Valerie Cagle?
Oh, I was thinking it in my head. I was thinking it in my head, and I didn't want to say it because then I'm
Oh,
like, that would be really cool though.
it
You
would
got one
be.
on the
It would
East
be
Coast, one on the West Coast,
yeah,
nothing
that
in the
would be
middle.
give Valerie Cagle a run for her money for USA Softball Player of the Year.
Yeah,
That would
and
be.
I think that they might plan to play her both ways as of depending on how she does to start. But when I
Are you
when
sure? Are you sure?
no, I'm not sure.
Are you sure? Because when we were
But
talking about Ashton Danley for Florida
okay,
State, you wanted to pigeonhole her as a PO.
okay. Well, there's a little bit of support behind this thought this time. The last time there was just bubbles in my head. There was no thought. It was just a
You didn't
statement
have
that
the
came out.
numbers. You didn't have the numbers. That's what it was.
Whatever.
People people go back and listen to the episode. What was it? Episode 3, I think that was where we talked about the ACC.
Perhaps. I'm not sure.
I think that
I
was
lost
episode
track.
3. Go back and listen to that episode where Ashley decides that Ashton Danley, incoming freshman from Florida State, who was phenomenal in the circle during her high school career, and also batted over 600 for her entire high school career and hit like 30 home runs. Go back and listen to Ashley talk about Miss Danley. Oh, I think she's probably just going to be a PO, just like every other pitcher who comes in. Okay.
It's just some schools don't have a reputation for having pitchers that are two-way players. They have POs. Florida State's one of them. And UCLA, on the other hand, has a reputation for having two-way players, which is why I think that Caitlin Terry might find her way on both sides of the ball.
Florida State literally just graduated a girl who was a two-way player.
Who?
And I'm drawing a blank.
Hmm. That's what I'd say
Let me
too.
let me go back and look at my notes, and I will prove to you it was Mac Leonard. That's who it was. Mac Leonard.
Hmm.
Yeah, what do you guys say about that? Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing. That's for sure.
Well, anyway, to go with this incoming transfer pitcher and this freshman pitcher, UCLA returns a decent amount throughout their lineup. First off, they got Jordan Woolery, who's coming back after having a pretty nice offensive year. We're going 390. We're batting 390 with 10 home runs, 46 ribbies, getting on base almost half the time. What? What's funny about that?
The ribbies just threw me off.
What? That's what they're called.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a loser.
Whatever.
I was rolling. I was rolling.
I know, 46 rubies. Keep going.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that was her stats. She did really good. First base, third base for him last year. I expect to see her do much more of the same this year. Got Maya Brady at shortstop. She batted almost 450. That's crazy.
That's wild. And that is why she was named the Pac-12 batting champion.
I mean, yeah, 448 along with 18 home runs, 59 RBIs, and 63 stolen bases. And Miss Brady, oh, excuse me, she did get on base over half of the time.
Yeah, what was it, like 515 or something?
Yeah, she ended the year with a 515 on base percentage. Just just crazy, man. Just really, really good at the
Strong,
plate.
strong numbers. Yeah.
I wish I was smarter to come up with like some better words to describe Maya Brady aside from really, really good. I sound like a middle school kid. I read at a sixth grade level, I guess.
Vocabulary is slim.
Yeah. Slim pickings on the vernacular over here.
On the who?
The vernacular?
Right. How many stolen bases did you say she had?
Maya Brady?
Yeah.
I don't have her stolen bases down.
Okay, because you said 63 stolen bases.
Did I?
Yeah, but you meant runs scored, right?
Yes.
Man, you said 63 stolen bases, and I was like, there is no way I typed that wrong. There's no way I overlooked 63 stolen bases. That's Lightning McQueen right there. Like
Good
that's
chow. Good chow. Oh
oh
yeah,
man,
yeah. I must have misspoke. Yeah, 59 RBIs and 63 runs scored. My bad.
that makes more sense.
Why didn't you say something when I first said it?
Because I didn't want to say anything and then you be right. And I was like, maybe I just mistyped and put runs scored on accident. I don't know.
Oh, no way, bro. No way.
That would be oh all time record right there. No
Oh
doubter.
man. It would be no wonder why she had a 515 on base percentage if that was the case.
She stole first
Jeez.
base.
Just 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 dink it. Dink. Zoom. Fast like the
So one's
flash.
a run 1-5 to home to first.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Oh.
that would be. She actually she actually did have I think some stolen bases, but not
Not
63.
63.
Whoopsies. Just got so excited.
All right.
Oh,
And if we want to move on from Maya Brady and how awesome she was, we got Megan Grant, who flip flopped with Jordan Woolery at third base and first base. Batted 333 on the year, hit 15 bombs. Also responsible for a bunch of RBIs, also known as ribbies. High on base percentage. Just, I mean, can't ask for much more from your hot corner athletes putting up really good numbers at the plate.
were they
And then,
both freshmen?
ugh, I don't know.
I know Jordan Woolery was because she was freshman of the year.
Well, why didn't you
Megan
say
Grant was
that when we
also a
were?
freshman.
Oh yeah, why didn't you say that when we were talking about her?
What? Say that she was freshman of the year?
Yeah,
Well, because I'd already interrupted your whole Ribby run, and then I got distracted by I don't know. I don't know. I was just
okay, so
listening, just zoned in.
you want to rewind? Just Jordan Woolery, also freshman of the year. Throw that in there.
Yeah, she was Pac-12 freshman of the year. No biggie. Did you know that
Jeez.
Maya Brady was the Pac-12 player of the year?
You said it, not me.
And the batting champion. Fell short for the USA Collegiate Softball Player of the Year, though. You know why? Because Valerie
Because of
Cagle just snatched it right up. What else? Who else, I should say?
I mean, they have a couple other returners in Janelle Mayonio, Charlize Palacios, and Savannah Polo. Palacios had a really good year as well, similar to Megan Grant. Well, in average, closer to Megan Grant, 311, and then but put up 10 home runs just like Jordan Woolery did. So I mean, I expect UCLA to continue to have success and
I expect UCLA to do much better in the postseason.
yeah, I mean, last year I don't want to say it was a fluke because I mean,
Word right
like
out of my brain.
Utah was really good. They deserved everything they got, and I mean Washington was really good. Oregon was really good, but yeah, I mean UCLA goes into the postseason and they just crap the bed. I mean, if we're gonna be blunt, like I could use some other expletives to say that, but that's what they did. They just crapped a bit, and I don't. Granted, they did face a really good Liberty and a really good GCU team, but I mean it's hard to beat Jesus anyway. But
I was gonna say Jesus 1 and Jesus 2.
no, there's only one Jesus.
That's right.
but but yeah, I mean they should be frustrated with their postseason performance from a season ago, and I mean they should expect a lot more out of
Yeah, come
themselves.
out with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, I don't really have much else to say about UCLA. Like you said, they should come up with a chip on their shoulder, and they should expect to beat people into the ground and not take their foot off the gas.
Yep.
All
We'll just have
right.
to watch and wait and see.
Yeah. All right. As far as Washington goes, remember they finished second in the postseason, or not the postseason, in the regular
Regular?
season.
Yeah. 44 and 15 on the year. 16 and 8 in conference.
It's
Not
pretty good.
the best stats that we've seen as a team.
Yeah. I mean, they're not bad.
Mm-mm. Not bad at all.
They're much more comparable to some Big Ten teams.
Yeah.
A little bit better in the offensive category.
Yeah. I think the ERA is where they were struggling. 2.5 team ERA, and you're
Yeah,
you're competing with UCLA, who had a less than 2 ERA. So
yeah. I mean, I before we go further with Washington, I do want to point this out though. UCLA, by anybody else's standards, scored a lot of runs, but when you compare them to Oklahoma and Florida State,
Oklahoma doesn't count. They're not real.
yeah, like they scored as many runs. I think four less runs than Texas. And Texas was really good. And they were
Mm-hmm.
right there around Clemson and Duke. Like UCLA, a really good team, but you put them up against Oklahoma, ain't happening. At least not last year. Probably not this year either.
Probably not for a couple years.
Um, but yeah, as a team, like their offensive numbers Washington's offensive numbers not anything crazy. Solid, pretty good.
My concern for Washington, though they return good players, obviously, and they lose good players. But my concern is offensively, which, like we just said, is better numbers than what their pitching numbers were as compared to other teams. They're losing their top four hitters because all four of their hitters were fifth years.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of sitting in the same boat as Northwestern, a
Yeah,
Big Ten team who they resemble very closely.
same color. Wait,
Yeah, I was about
yeah,
to
same
say
colors.
even except for the gold,
Yeah, purple.
but yeah, pretty similar colors, pretty similar all the way around.
Yeah,
Yeah, they lose Kelly Lynch, Bailey Klingler.
yeah, they lose those two, and Bailey Klinger was not offensively was very very productive for them. A 385 batting average and a 484 on base percentage. So, I mean, that she was one of the top four that they're losing, and I don't recall anybody else really having. I could be wrong, but I don't recall anybody else having almost a 500 on base percentage. I think there were maybe one or two others that had above 400, but I mean, not to mention too, she was also really good defensively.
Yeah, I you're talking about Bailey Klingler,
Klingler.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sammy Reynolds had above 400, but yeah, not 484 like Bailey Klingler. Um, the good news is they returned. They're 1-2 in the circle. They returned Ruby Malin and Lindsay Lopez. They both put up good records. Their ERAs just
Don't almost don't align with their good records. I feel like
yeah
Ruby
not
Malin had an 18-7 record, 2.14 ERA, which isn't. I, it's like we said before. Ideally, you want lower than a two, but I mean,
yeah.
she
I
still
mean
got the job done in the circle.
when you're talking about a Pac-12 team, like it's kind of it's just surprising to see that you had a 1-2 with over a two and Lindsay Lopez over a three, and see that they finished number two in the conference.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I mean, I say it's surprising, but when you go and you look at Utah, like Utah's sitting in the same boat. Utah just was a much
clutched up.
better well, they were a much better offensive team
Yeah,
than Washington was.
yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't know. Washington, they add Alyssa Popelka. Is that how you say her last name?
Could
Anyway,
be.
she's a grad transfer from Texas, um, to try to make up for some of that lost the lost offense in those graduating fifth years. She's a career 361 hitter with 422 on base percentage and 44 stolen bases.
Yeah, she's got the speed, and she was pretty good defensive outfielder. Obviously the outfield's on defense, but you know what I'm trying to say. I think she definitely helps out with the loss that they're suffering from their fifth years. offensively for sure. And then they bring in
Yeah,
two other transfers too, one of which I think has to almost compete for. You're obviously competing every day at practice for a spot, but I think she's going to have to work hard. It's transfer a JUCO transfer from Bellevue College, Haley Winkler, and I think offensively, there's two other catchers, two junior catchers at Washington. I think if she's going to get playing time, she's got to be able to bring a stronger bat because their catchers last year weren't worrisome. And what is their offense coming into this year. So if she can't put up batting numbers, then
yeah, but too with catchers, like they have to be able to handle the staff.
yeah, can't have a catcher that
And
can't.
yeah, and I mean if she's, butchering the strike zone and, just just bouncing balls off her mitt and not able to block balls in the dirt, it's not going to matter what she can do at the plate. I mean, it will, like
Well,
she would just transition into a DP more than likely, but
I don't necessarily feel like that's going to happen because she was a Gold Glove winner,
right. I
but it
don't
could.
I doubt it. I mean, you don't win a gold glove because you got lucky.
Yeah, and you don't have a 1,000 fielding percentage because you got lucky. Like,
Right. Yeah. And I wasn't saying all of that to say that, like, there's a chance she doesn't do well behind the plate. I was just saying,
you can't just rely on offense and then throw a
yeah,
catcher
her,
back there that can't get the job done.
right. Like, if that was the case, if your catchers were terrible, you would just throw, your your DPUs and infielder back behind the plate.
Right. Are you okay?
I don't know. I got like this tickle in my throat that like won't go away, and I think it's because we haven't recorded in a little while. So like every time, like I said, I talked for as long as I could earlier with UCLA, and like that little bit of talking has just like, and I kind of got like some little like sinus or head thing this past week,
Mm.
and
Maybe you should
I
call
don't
out of
know.
work tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't because I got to call out on Friday.
Oh my god. Whack.
Sorry about it. You're not coming tomorrow.
Yeah, I have appointments that I've already had to reschedule and I ain't doing it again.
Okay, well, I mean, you can't be mad at me because,
Yeah, but Friday's way better than a Monday.
well, yeah, of course.
Stupid
Anyway, so Washington also brings in four freshmen. Were you done with transfers?
Yeah, I was done. Done with transfers.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. They bring in four freshmen. I mean, I don't. They got one pitcher, a catcher utility, another utility, and an infielder. Um, I mean, I don't really see any of them getting a lot of significant playing time
Nah,
right off the bat. I mean, they could because, like we've already mentioned, Washington lost a lot of key pieces, but I don't know. I mean, I just don't see these freshmen playing a bunch this
I
year.
agree.
Move on into Utah. Utah, like we said a little bit ago, they had a better offensive team than Washington. So not really a surprise that they were able to outlast Washington in the conference tournament and eventually take the crown from UCLA. They batted 327 on the year as a team. Uh, they stole almost 100 bases as a team. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Speed.
But team OBP is 385. That's not very good.
Not when you compare it to their batting average. That was already 327.
Yeah.
That means they're pretty much hitting the ball or not getting
Or
on.
not hitting the ball or not. Kind of like the
I
you
I
know
mean technically kind of like
the
the game of softball.
yeah.
Well, I meant it as like they're not getting a lot of walks or hit by pitches.
Yeah. They did walk 127 times, but that's not a lot in the grand scheme of a year,
Yeah.
right? In a full season, most teams, most really good teams, you're talking about a 200 plus walk team. So, but, but yeah, they're with their defense, fielding percentage 964, and their pitching team ERA 286. It is no surprise that when they got to the College World Series, kind of
Didn't perform as well as they were wanting to.
yeah lost that hot streak they had when they rode into Oklahoma City. Uh,
Yeah.
Major key loss, Alessa Bonstrom, who dropped 11 tanks for him last year, stole some bags, 12, had a 460 OBP,
Hey, she had 15
331
hit
batting
by
average.
pitches.
Team first, baby. Team first. Selfless. Sacrifice the body. Get on base.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, they lost their number two pitcher in Sydney Sanders too, but definitely Alyssa Bonstrom is a tough loss in the heart of that lineup. But good news for Utah is they return pretty much their entire lineup. They got their ace Mariah Lopez coming back again, pitching not strong suit, but and you're talking about a girl who put up a 23-7 record with a 2.23 ERA and threw almost 200 innings for you last year. So
And the experience helps.
yeah, um, yeah. So I mean, having Mariah Lopez come back is definitely a plus for Utah. Now, for them to get over the hump and be a little bit better, their transfer Racy Miranda, who is a pitcher from Cal State Fullerton, she's going to have to do better than she did at Cal State Fullerton.
For sure. For sure. Three ERA ain't cutting it.
No, no, it is not. But outside of the circle, you got Haley Denning, one of their outfielders who returns, batted 389 last year and swiped 33 bags. On base percentage was not super impressive, but when she got on base, she was getting herself in a scoring position.
Yeah.
Um, who else? Who else? Who else? Who else?
Let's see. I have Aaliyah.
Ballarde,
Yep.
yeah, second baseman last year.
Yeah.
What you
393
got on
batting
her?
average, 452 on base percentage. 16 for 16 in stolen bases. So just between Haley Denning and Aaliyah Ballarde, that's 49, almost 50 bags just on the two of them. And you said they had 100 stolen bases, right?
99.
Yeah. So two of their players make
account for
up half of
half of their
that.
team stolen bases. Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's super impressive. And their third baseman Julia Jimenez also is coming back, about a 343 last year and dropped 10 home runs. Um, and then their shortstop Carly Davison is coming back. They're another, and then there are two other outfielders. So Sophie Jaquez, or yeah, I think it's Jaquez, and then Shelby Ortiz. They're all coming back too. Um, so I mean, you got to feel good if you're a Ute going into this season, knowing that your lineup from last year is going to be the same this year.
Yeah.
Like you might have one or two, maybe a third, kind of switch in and out and platoon at some positions, but like your catcher's not probably not going to catch every single game. Um,
If she
but
does, bless her knees.
yeah, yeah, better grab some
Yeah.
ice and ibuprofen.
Rest, ice, compression, elevate.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, gotta feel good if you're a Ute, knowing that you got the same girl in the circle, and then 1 through 9 pretty much is going to be the exact same as it was last year. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, other notable players. Who do you have for other notable players? Let's not mention the obvious one right now. And
Okay.
let's just we'll save that one for last.
Okay.
Because if not, we're gonna go on a rant, and we
That
are.
rant's already been done.
It has, but it's gonna happen again. Because how can you not?
Yeah. Well, since we're not doing mentioning her first, I'm gonna roll with the Stanford pitcher, Najee Kennedy. I mean,
Phenomenal.
how can you not mention her? 0.57 ERA on the year.
Yeah. And not just like 0.57, I threw 22 innings.
No, no, through 135.
Yeah. Like freak.
Yeah. I
Freak.
mean, put up whack numbers. 218 strikeouts, 21 walks, and held
Yeah.
her opponents to a .137 batting average. Like you're not likely to hit off of her.
Could you imagine if she was at Oklahoma?
Oh my god. No, it'd be that would be so no,
Not fair.
Oklahoma should just be playing freaking
Oklahoma.
professional. Yeah.
Oklahoma should play Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Oklahoma's in
just
a league all by itself.
red and white scrimmage every weekend.
Yeah. No, I mean, 0.57 ERA with 218 strikeouts. Like,
Unreal.
I mean, yeah, it's unreal. Um, her number of innings pitched surprises me a little bit because it's so low. But then when you think about she's not giving up a run anytime she pitches, and she's striking out almost twice as many innings as she's thrown. Like, of course, she hasn't thrown that many innings. She's
There's
just,
no need.
yeah, she's just blowing it by everybody. And mind you,
Yeah.
Stanford didn't have the offensive production that
Utah and
UCLA,
UCLA
yeah,
did.
Utah, yeah, like Stanford's Stanford wasn't able to get a whole bunch of runs across throughout the year prior to postseason play when they just really got hot at the right time. Like obviously they were still really good, but
Yeah.
they like when you compare them to every other team in the Pac-12, where teams like Texas and Oklahoma State, um, or Clemson and Duke, or the 47 SEC teams that got into the tournament. Like Stanford was kind of at the bottom of the group of not group of five of the Power Five teams as far as being able to score runs with everybody else. But when you have a pitcher in the circle who says, "Hey, just give me one,
Just give me one. I
just,
got it. Don't worry
just
about
give
it.
me one, just give me one, and we'll get there." Like,
That's not to mention to just to tack on to her stat line. She also was a NFCA national freshman freshman of the year. Not junior, not senior, not fifth year, freshman, rookie season, less than a 1 ERA. No big deal.
yeah,
That's
and
hoping
it,
she follows up with another really good year.
yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense now why Deanna Jennings didn't win that award because she had to go up against Najee Kennedy.
Yeah, tough competition.
Um, okay, we got Stevie Hansen, Oregon's ace. She posted a 20-7 record last year. um, not super awesome as far as like the ERA is concerned. You know, you go from a 0.57 ERA in Kennedy to Stevie Hansen, who posted a 2.63 ERA. Um, but I mean, you put up 20 wins for your team, like just somebody keep an eye on for Oregon is if she can figure out how to lower that ERA a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised to see Oregon, finish in the top one, two, or three.
I'm back up. They used to be a team that finished in the top one, two, and three in the Pac-12, and they kind of just fell off a little bit. Not far. I think they finished like fifth this past season, but
Yeah, and I mean they're still having to go up against Arkansas in regionals
yeah,
every year, and
having a super fun time with that matchup.
yeah, I mean the last 2 years they're 1-1 against Arkansas. So
What are the odds they get
uh,
Arkansas again?
I would say the odds are probably pretty good.
I would say the NCAA is just like let's just put Oregon and Arkansas against each other every year from here on out.
I feel like the odds may ever be in their favor.
Okay.
um, and we got Cal's Tatum and Zaldo. Batted 383 last year with 5 home runs. Had a 463 on base percentage. Um, on a Cal team that wasn't very good. Like they weren't bad. They were like an average, maybe slightly above average Power Five team. Um, I think they were like 35-21 last year or something like that.
35-21 and 1.
Mm.
But
Yeah, I mean,
overall, obviously a pretty
yeah, like
35 wins is
a,
pretty solid.
they're a solid team, but they're comparable to other other teams that got left out, like group of five teams,
Yeah,
like South Florida, I think, Florida Atlantic, like teams that put up.
40 plus wins.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just didn't think Cal deserved to go. But that being said, they did. And from an offensive standpoint, like they were pretty good. They weren't bad. They hit a lot of home runs as a
Yeah.
team. So, but Tatum Manzotto is one that drew my eye. Want to keep an eye on. And obviously you have the transfer from
Drum roll.
Indiana in Taryn Kern, who we've talked about time and time again. because she's
Is a
just
robot actually.
yeah,
She's actually one of those people. What's that creator movie where you see the people wearing the fake faces and whatnot walking
yeah,
around? That's
yeah,
she's actually she's part of that.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, we already talked about her, and I just feel like every time I see her name, just as I feel like with Valerie Cagle and Jordy Ball, I'm just simply just it's just like jaw dropping. How does one put up 23 home runs in one season?
She put up over 130 runs. Like she was responsible for 130 runs by herself.
It's just
68
it's
RBIs and 68 runs scored and got on base almost 60% of the time. Like who does that?
I think the answer you're looking for is Taryn Kern.
Yeah, just insane. In her freshman year,
Yeah,
another one that was like Najee Candy, who's a freshman and putting up just crazy numbers.
yeah. She was a competitor against Najee Kennedy for that NFCA freshman of the year. She was a top three finalist for it, and Najee
Yeah,
Kennedy obviously she won it. But I mean, how Big Ten freshman of the year, Big Ten player of the year,
yeah. I mean,
All American. What did
I
she not get?
I would I would have loved to have been in the room for that vote because it came down to those two.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you're having to weigh because one is super strong offensively and the other one doesn't do
Doesn't hit.
offense. She's a yeah, so you're comparing two
Yeah.
completely different sides of the ball. Maybe they should consider changing it to like a national offensive freshman of the year, national defensive freshman of the year.
Well, I mean, when
Because
you're talking, if you did it like that, then you would have to go, okay, well, with defense, like that's why the Gold Glove goes to every position.
position,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So, but yeah, I mean, you're not comparing apples to apples there. You're comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, like it's understandable why Najee Kennedy won because a .57 ERA in Division 1 softball. That's
As a
that's
freshman?
nut. That's unheard of. Nobody does that.
No.
Like, and the other thing is Najee Kennedy's having to pitch against 9 different hitters every single time she pitches. Taryn Kern's
Mm-hmm.
only got a hit off of one, maybe would say probably max three pitchers a game.
Yeah.
So, but that being said,
Stanford's got a
some of yeah,
good chance of not finishing fourth in the conference this year, I feel like.
yeah. I mean, it's when you add a Taryn Kern to your lineup and you have a pitcher in Najee Kennedy who says, "Hey, just give me one." Probably going to win a lot of ball
And you
games.
got Taryn Kern that's just like, okay, here you go. Home run for
Yeah,
you.
Dink. See ya. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I mean, I would expect Stanford to be better this year than they were last year.
yeah. And they weren't
So
even bad last year. They had almost 50 wins.
yeah, yeah. Two, they're like some of the smartest individuals in on the planet.
Yeah.
Stanford's not easy to get into. That's probably how they figured out how to, be as good as they are.
They just look at statistics and analytics of the game and
Yeah,
just use
yeah. They're just
physics to
like, yeah.
calculate.
Not Najee Kennedy's like, if I throw this drop ball right here, her swing projection is going to be at 7 degrees.
Max velocity of this. My face won't get broken in half because she can only hit it, I don't know, 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. So now moving into our sleepers. I like my sleeper pick, but at the same time I don't. And I'll tell you why after we 3, 2, 1 it.
I don't think I like my sleeper pick. But then I look at it and I'm like, I don't know who else I would have chosen. And it's a sleeper for sure.
Hmm. Okay. Well, you want a 3, 2, 1 it?
Yep,
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Arizona. You didn't say yours.
Good.
Really?
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah. So like I really like my sleeper pick because Arizona finished second to last year
Yeah,
in the
second to
Pac-12.
last. Second to
Um,
last.
I really, really like Arizona as a sleeper because obviously after you finish second to last, like people are gonna sleep on you. But Arizona has been really, really good in recent history. I think last year was kind of just a fluke.
Yeah, I I actually put in my notes part of the reason for why I picked them was because of their past. Because they were a team that popped up in the Women's College World Series almost every single season.
Yeah.
And their coach, who's their coach? Oh my god.
I think last year was
Carta.
her
No.
first year.
Yeah, last year was her first year.
Yeah,
Let's
she
see. It's not thinking of somebody completely different. Let's see. Um, this is gonna drive me nuts. Who's her do you know who their coach is off the top of your head?
I can't remember her name, but I know last year was her first year.
Yeah. And I read a couple of things about her like coaching, not necessarily tactic, but like what she tends to focus on more because that's how
Hmm.
she was coached, which
Yeah,
obviously makes sense. Um, and I think it said that she focuses more on Caitlin Lowe. Thank you. Got
there you
it.
go.
Um, she doesn't tend to focus on pitching, I'm pretty sure. And she focuses a lot on defense, obviously, as most teams do. But
I said it last 2 episodes ago when we talked about the Big Ten. If your circle sucks, it doesn't matter what you do offensively.
yeah, and that's why I think they weren't super productive throughout their season because their circle posted a 4.36 ERA.
Yeah, that's awful. That's
That's
brutal.
garbage. Yeah.
Hot
But then you turn
garbage.
around and they're and as a team they fielded 985.
Yeah.
So
Your defense can't field home runs though.
right. They can't field freaking line shots to the gaps and double after double after double. They can, however, field pop flies and roll over ground balls.
Right.
So and I truly believe the pitching's what got them last year.
Oh yeah, for sure, without a doubt. I mean, they're returning all but one from last year's starting lineup. They got Ali Skaggs, who was a utility player last year, won a Gold Glove last year, batted
Defensive
338.
player of the year.
Yeah, batted three. She's a career 338 hitter with 43 home runs. So like, she's gonna friggin' drop some tanks for you. She's gonna drive in some runs. They got Devin Netz, who was a two-way player for him last year. Um, more more importantly, she did really good at the plate. She was a 303 hitter with 13 home runs and 40 RBIs. Um, Pitching wise, like we were saying, like
You
you
can't have
can't
a 4.36
put
ERA.
yeah, you can't have a team 4.36 ERA, and her ERA was a 3.88, and that was their ace.
Yeah.
So
So then that
gotta.
leads me. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say you got to figure out the circle. You have to
Yeah.
figure out the circle. Devin Nets is your ace.
No, you
Devin
gotta.
Nets is an infielder, and somebody else is gonna have to step up.
Yeah. So that brings up. They're bringing on, uh, I believe, two pitchers, and they're bringing in the California Gatorade Player of the Year. She's a pitcher, Ryan Maddox. She had a 21-1 record with a .64 ERA, 281
Yep.
strikeouts in 152 innings, only allowed
Yep.
65 hits. So I mean, I'm thinking she's obviously going to have an impact. And then they
Yeah,
bring
and then
in
they bring
their
in Ohio's Gatorade Player of the
yeah,
Year, Brooke Mannon,
yeah,
who was a career 36-1 in high school with a .33 ERA. Yeah, very similar to Ryan Maddox. Like I would expect both those girls to be in the circle day one. Devin Nets is an infielder now. She's not going to touch the circle
yeah.
unless she
She's a
absolutely has
midweek.
to. Yeah, yeah. She's a just in case.
Yeah,
She's coming from the bullpen.
yeah.
But not only that, so they batted 329 as a team. That was second in conference. They were tied for third in conference with for home runs. They hit 65 home runs. They scored the most runs in the entire conference, even more than UCLA at 371. They had the highest on base percentage in the conference at 416 as a team. They had the best fielding percentage in the conference, like you said, is 985. And now you're talking about the addition of freshmen, these two freshman pitchers who are now going to be under a new pitching coach in Christian Conrad, who comes from
Mm-hmm.
Loyola Marymount. And during his time at Loyola Marymount at LMU, the last two seasons, his girls posted a sub 3 ERA. His pitching staff posted sub 3 ERAs. So I would imagine, and you're talking about an LMU team who made it to regionals last year, so they were pretty solid. Um, but they're a mid-major team. They don't have the workhorses in the circle that these Power Five schools have.
Right.
So your expectation here is for Christian Conrad to come in, take over the pitching staff, and you see the pitching that you should see out of an Arizona team.
Yeah. Pull the
I
ERA
mean,
down, develop your two young freshman pitchers,
yeah,
and
and this guy's not like obviously just in his time at LMU, like you can tell he knows what he's doing, but like he spent time working under Mike White at Texas and Lonnie Alameda at Florida State.
oh,
So
love Lonnie
and
Alameda.
he's also worked with pitchers from or like he's also worked with Athletes Unlimited for a small stint. Um, but yeah, like you expect this dude to come in and just like completely turn around this pitching staff.
Yeah. Develop, drill them, fix them,
Yeah.
and Arizona comes out firing. And I don't predict that they're finishing second in the conference, second to last in the conference.
Oh yeah. No shot. Um, with that being said, um, so both of our sleepers, Arizona, and having ran through all of that, who do you think wins the Pac-12?
You're not gonna like what I'm gonna say.
We might be on the same page.
I don't think so. I'm still picking UCLA.
That's who I've written down too.
Okay. I'm
I
still
think
okay. So they had a bad, crappy latter half of the season. They're still freaking dominant.
yeah, they're still UCLA.
Yeah.
Like my only hesitation with that is you lost your 1-2 punch in the circle. And like I just said, if your circle sucks, it doesn't
It don't
matter what
matter
you
what
do
you do.
offensively. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have the best defensive team. It doesn't matter if you have the best offensive team. If your circle sucks, there's not a lot you can do. You're not gonna be able to sustain out hitting everybody. Because if you can't get off the field and get
You
in the
know,
dugout, so you can hit, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
So, but
I'm still rocking with them. I think they're
yeah, I
gonna
mean,
figure it out. They got one heck of a head coach that definitely is gonna fix some things and make sure that what happened last year doesn't happen again.
yeah. But I mean, I imagine UCLA, like we were talking about earlier, comes out with a chip on their shoulder, and they're just like, no, what happened last year is not happening again this year.
Yeah.
I I I would say putting up a 52-7 record is probably not going to happen again.
No.
I think it'll be more like a 48-11 or something
I
like
say
that.
for sure over 45. Over 45 wins.
But
For sure.
I would not be surprised at all because my hot take today. I would not be surprised to see Arizona giving them a run for their money because Arizona's freaking back. Arizona's back.
Oh yeah.
Like
And I can't wait
Washington,
to watch them.
Washington, see ya.
Yeah, they're not. I'm moving on from my number one pick, and my number two pick is not Washington, nor is
Yeah, like
Washington my number three pick
nope.
or my
I
four.
I, I think UCLA is probably going to win it, but I would not be surprised to see an Arizona, UCLA, Utah.
I'm thinking UCLA, Stanford, Arizona, Utah.
Yeah, I mean, I like I like Stanford in that mix too, but I don't.
Either way, those four UCLA, Stanford, Arizona, and Utah, those are my top. That's the top four. I don't know what order it's going to be in. That's my top four.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, with Taryn Curtin in the mix now, like Utah might
They already
Utah
posted better numbers than Utah offensively, didn't they?
Stanford.
No, they didn't.
No, their pitching
It's
staff
okay.
was
Taryn Karen will
their
help
their
that.
pitching. Stanford's pitching staff was exponentially better than Utah.
Yeah. You know,
So
I feel like I could predict the whole Pac-12 actually. All right, I'm going UCLA, Stanford, Arizona, Utah, Oregon, no, Washington, Oregon, and then California, Oregon State, Arizona State. That's my prediction. Out of my
you
top four, I'm feeling like I have a good chance of getting one of them right.
you think with everything that Washington lost that they're still going to be better than Oregon this year?
I don't know. That's a toss up. That's why I said Oregon, Washington, and I said Washington, Oregon. I'm feeling right on the edge of that one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, kind of like the college football playoffs right now. They're going to face each other again next week in conference championship.
Lose lose for me, that's for sure.
Hey, whatever. Arizona's back. That's all I care about.
That's right.
All right. I think that'll do it for this episode.